was hoping that there would be less, but that's fine. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So I figured today I would do just an overview of what my current TBR is. It's not too crazy, but I have a bunch of piles that are around me, so I figured I would just run down and show you what, again, my TBR is for 2024. These are books that I'm hoping to read throughout the year, and so that way I can keep my TBR low. So yeah, let's get into it. So the first one that I have here is my only dark romance. This is one that I have a copy from the library, and it's Butcher and Blackbird. I believe it's like a dark romantic comedy. I'm currently reading it. It's taking me a little bit to get into it, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm excited to see where this goes. My best friend is currently, we're reading it together, and she told me that it's definitely worth it to keep going, so I'm looking forward to finishing this and seeing where it goes. Hopefully I do like it because it is a trilogy and I can complete it, but so yeah, that's the first one up in my TBR. My next one is, I do have two Brandon Sanderson books. The first one is The Alloy of Law, which is the first in the Wax and Wayne book one. It's part of that, I believe it's a trilogy. I could be very wrong. I'm still very new to Brandon Sanderson's world, but I'm excited to read this one. And then I also do have Tress of the Emerald Sea, the first one of his secret projects. I really want to read this one first because I feel like this one would be a good intro into Brandon Sanderson's works. So I do currently have this one, and I have it has such pretty end papers, so I'm super excited to read this one. My next one that I have is my only, not my only sci-fi, but it is Only Human. It is the last book in the Themis trilogy. It is one of my favorite sci-fi trilogies about basically finding these weird ancient robots underneath like planet, and so I'm really excited to see how this ends. And so there's a lot of action, there's a lot of sci-fi, there's robots, and it's also told in the it's told in like an interview format, which is a really interesting or different way to read something. It kind of gives a break from just a normal novel, and there's a little bit of the narrator, you don't really know who it is, so I don't know if it would be an unreliable narrator or just that he's just a very mysterious narrator. So I'm excited to hopefully read this year and finally finish that trilogy, because they've all been, both the other books were really good. My next one that I'll do is I do have two TJ Klune books. After I read The House of the Cerulean Sea, I really wanted to read more of his stuff. So the other one that I got is Under the Whispering Door. I've heard that this one is pretty sad, so I've been kind of waiting till I've been in the mood to read Under the Whispering Door, but it sounds really, it says right here it's a life and death love story, so definitely an interesting premise, so I'm excited to read that one. And then the other one that I have is Wolf Song, which is the first one in, this is the first one in the Green Creek series. It is an adult fantasy series. There are 4 books in them, so I'm obviously starting with the first one. So I'm really excited to see this, or to read this one, because it'll sounds really cute, and it sounds like a cute wolf love story, so I'm excited to see. The next one that I'll do, because I only have one, is the only classic on my shelf, which is Jane Eyre, this very thick but beautiful edition of it. But I do really want to read Jane Eyre. It's always been one that I've wanted to read of hers by Charlotte Bronte, so I do want to read it, but this is probably one that's going to take me a little bit to read, because classics, I do like to take my time with them and analyze the text a little bit more than I would some other books that I can read a lot faster. So I'm excited to read this one this year too. It is a thick one though, I will say that. The next section that I'll do is like my literary romance, or my literary fiction. And so the first one is the 10,000 Doors of January. I was hoping to get this in the month of January because it's 10,000 Doors of January, but it's just not going to happen this month, which is fine. But I do still really want to read it. It sounds like a cute kind of magical realism, traveling through doors story, so I am really excited to see. It's definitely about a book about a main character who's trying to escape their real life and trying to find a place where they fit in. So I've had this one on my TBR for a while, and I definitely do want to get to it this year. Again, hoping to get to it in January, but it just didn't happen. The next one is The Wishing Game. This has been described as a adult version of Willy Wonka, and you really can't get any better off than that. And it is a shorter read, but it sounds like a cute kind of magical realism story. If I understand correctly, I think there's a little bit of like romance in it as well. But it's just been described as heartwarming and found family aspects. So I'm really excited to read this one and kind of have a little bit of like childhood nostalgia hopefully come through with this one. And then the next one, I think it would fall under like also mystery. It's the Dead Fathers Club by Matt Haig. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. And it's basically about a kid who his father dies. His father comes back as a ghost, and basically insists for him to like figure out who killed him and help him kind of solve this mystery. So this one sounded really interesting when I found it online, so I ended up ordering because I got it as part of like a Barnes & Noble sale. So hopefully I'll be able to read this one, and it sounds really good. This is the first book of Matt Haig's that I will have read. So my next section that we'll do romance, and so the first one that I have it's called Hollowed by Jessica Taylor, and this is actually a Sleepy Hollow retelling, or Sleepy Hollow reimagining, and I believe it's between Katrina and the Headless Horseman, which again is exciting. And I even got these really cute like cardstock photos into it when I pre-ordered it, because who can't pass up a good pre-order sale. So I'm hoping to get these up and displayed. But yeah, and she's I believe an indie author, but I love Sleepy Hollow. It's one of my favorites, and I really like reading reimaginings. I haven't read very many that I've liked, if I'm not gonna lie, so I'm hoping that this one will definitely be a win. But this cover is also stunning, so I couldn't pass it up. I really wanted to read it, so hopefully I'll get to that one soon. And then the next one is also a Sleepy Hollow reimagining, and it's the spelled book of Katrina Van Tassel. Again, it's just like a love story, but it's again more historic. It's a reimagining, and it's between, I believe, Katrina and Ichabod, so kind of stays on the per course of the normal Sleepy Hollow lore. So I'm excited to read this one, and I've been diving into reading more Sleepy Hollow reimagining, so if anybody has any suggestions, please let me know. The next one is This Spells Love. This one is a more recent release. This one came out in December. I get still the Target sticker on it, as you can see, but this one is kind of, again, I think it falls under, more of a magical realism. But yeah, a young woman tries to heal her heartbreak by casting a spell to erase her ex from her past, but wakes up in an alternate reality in which she's lost more than she wished for in this witty, whimsical friends to lovers debut. So it just sounded like a cute kind of almost like time travel-y, but basically it's just about where she wants to just erase him from his life, and it goes horribly wrong. And it sounds really cute, and again, it's a pretty short read, so I'm excited to just pick up. I love like short romances, and I'm hoping that this one will be funny and cute. So yeah, the next one is I'm currently borrowing this one from my aunt, but it's People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I'm slowly working my way through her romance books. I have read Book Lovers and Beach Read. Beach Read was my favorite that I've read of hers so far, so I'm really excited to pick up her next romance. This is a very popular book. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of it. Emily Henry's a pretty big author, so I'm excited to keep reading her romance books. I have Happy Place that I still need to read, and then I do want to read Funny Story when it comes out. I think in June is when it's supposed to be coming out. I could be very wrong about that, but it's coming out this year, and I'm excited to read that one. Could be April. I can't remember now. The next one, it's probably falls under fantasy romance, and it is Hearthstone, so it probably should be my fantasy should be in my fantasy category, but that's okay. But I saw this on Riley Marie's channel, and she described this as almost like a Pride and Prejudice meets dragons. So what else you can't get wrong with that description, and it just sounded like a cute fantasy romance story, and again, dragons, and so I don't know if this is part of a series or not, but I'm really excited to read this one because I'm definitely a sucker for anything with dragons. The Honeymooners by Christina Lauren. I've never read anything by Christina Lauren, and this one just sounded really cute. Again, this one's kind of a staple. I've heard a lot of people talk about it, but it's about these two people who hate each other are both go to a wedding. I believe it's like best man and maid of honor situation, and they their bride and groom can't go on the honeymoon, so these two people who hate each other end up using the tickets and going so the trip doesn't get wasted, and they head to Maui in Hawaii. So it just sounds like a cute enemies to lovers. I'm hoping there's going to be a lot of bickering. Again, I've never read anything by her, so I'm excited to see what, like, her writing style, and hopefully I do really want to read Love in Other Words, so that's kind of the other one next on my TBR for Christina Lauren. My next one that I have is Loveless. I just talked about a novel of Alice Oseman's, and after I read Heartstopper, I really want to read more of her stuff, and this one sounds more of somebody who's navigating or possibly discovering that they are asexual or aromantic, so I'm really interested to read about that POV, and also just be introduced to more of Alice Oseman's characters, because I really love her writing and her characters that she creates. The next one that I'm currently reading and working on a series for is The Deal by Elle Kennedy. First ever sports romance. Oh, that's not true. I read an ice hockey, not an ice hockey, a figure skating book, which I think would fall under sports. But that one was not one of my favorites, I do have to say. But this one will be my first like sports romance, and I'm a whole 38 pages. I'm a little bit farther because I'm also reading it on my Kindle, kind of alternating because it's on Kindle Unlimited. So I'm already really, really liking this book, and I'm intending to do like a series vlog for it. But I have to say it's delivering so far. It's a very beloved series. Again, it has a fake dating romance trope, ice hockey. They're in college, so it just has been really cute so far, and I've been really liking the characters. Next one that I got for Christmas that I'm really excited to read is One Last Stop, and I was lucky enough to get the collector's edition, and it has really cute end papers. I've never read Casey McQuiston's books, but I really want to, and this one I'm very, very excited to read. It's about this girl who moves to New York, and she then meets a gorgeous girl on the train, and then it ends up being not exactly what she thinks it is, and she, I believe, again, there's a little bit of like a time travel aspect to it, but I'm kind of delving into trying to figure out more of my romance style, and I'm really excited to read this one. So and then my other one that I'm also borrowing from my aunt is another Casey McQuiston book, and it's Red, White, and Royal Blue. I do want to read this and then watch the series or movie. I can't remember if it's a series or a movie, but this is another one that I've heard a lot of people talk about. It has a lot of praise for it. Romance between two guys, and I believe America's First Son, and then and he falls in love with a prince. And I believe this one also has a little bit of a fake dating aspect, or a fake friendship situation. And so, like I said, I'm really excited to read Casey McQuiston's work. It just sounds really cute. Yeah, this is my other Casey McQuiston book. My next section of books is my horror book. I've been also trying to discover more of what my horror taste is. So I've been kind of accumulating a bunch. I do also have a bunch that I'm borrowing. Let me grab those. So these first ones in my horror category are ones that I'm currently borrowing from one of my friends. It's Exquisite Corpse. I've heard this one is pretty descriptive. It's pretty in detailed, but I want to be creeped out and grossed out, so I'm excited to read this one. I don't really want to know more about it because I like horror to kind of not be ruined for me, so I'm excited to read this one as well. This one is All That Remains. It's a true crime book, which I've never read a true crime book, so I'm excited to see how this is. And also this cover is really nice, and my friend said that I would really like it, so I'm going to trust his opinion. The other one that I have not just been recommended by my friend, but also my sister, is Episode 13. I don't really know much about what this is. Ooh, it's a ghost hunting reality TV show. Oh, I love everything about that. I love anything ghost hunting. I like grave encounters. I love ghost paranormal activity, even though it's trash. I don't like paranormal activity. It's not good, but I like paranormal activity because it's one of those like stupid comfort movies for me. I know, silly. And then Last Days by Adam, is it Neville? I watched The Ritual. I haven't read it, but I really liked The Ritual when I watched it, and so my friend got this book, and he said that this one was really good. He said it was a little slow, but he said that it was good and that I would like it. And it involves cults, it looks like, and a massacre, so I'm excited to read one of his books. Like I said, I really, really like The Ritual, and that one was a really good one. I'm borrowing this one, but I have two books from hers. So this first one I'm borrowing, and it's Hide by Kristen White, and basically a like hide and seek game that takes place at a an abandoned amusement park. And it's a short read. My friend said that it reads really fast, so I'm excited to read this one because again, abandoned amusement parks, where can you go wrong? And there's a prize, and it's obviously going to be something to where not everything turns out how it's supposed to be. So. And then this one I'm not borrowing, but I do also have this one on my list, and it's Mr. Magic, also by Kristen White. I did start reading this, but I put it down not as like a DNF. I just moved on to reading something else, but this is basically about a, like, how do I describe this one? Basically around where there was a children's show and something kind of tragic happened, and there's just a lot more behind this show than was ever revealed, and there's like some creepy, weird aspects to it, and I, again, really like that. It reminds me of the 1999 creepypasta with Mr. Bear. Great creepypasta if you like creepypastas, but kind of a classic in my opinion. But that one's kind of what the vibe that it's giving me, so I'm really excited to read. The other one that I am borrowing is called Mary, An Awakening of Terror, body horror. And I've heard really good things about it, not just from my friend, but a lot of other people on BookTube. The cover is also really gorgeous. Like, that's a great cover. And I just really want to read it. And again, I'm going into it a little bit blind, and that's fine. So these other books are ones that I haven't borrowed. They're like ones that I actually own. And the first one is The Hacienda by Isabel Canis. It's The Hacienda. And I did get a signed copy from Barnes & Noble. Flourished and got it. But I'm like a whole 18 pages in, and so far it's really pretty in the way that it's describing the ambiance and the environment, and I haven't been disappointed in that aspect. Obviously nothing creepy it's been eerie, but nothing really creepy has happened. Obviously it's very obvious that something is going on, but this is my first book of hers that I'm reading, so I'm excited to hopefully, if I like this one, read some of her other ones. Another one that I picked up kind of on a whim from Pango is the Book of Living Secrets. It's basically where these two, I believe they're teenagers, they get sucked into like their favorite book, basically about the novel turned upside down. I don't know if this would fall under fantasy, but it says, it's like this book is kind of turned into a nightmare, so I kind of feel like it would fall under a little bit of that horror, but I guess it would also probably go under fantasy. But this one, I'm not gonna lie, was kind of a cover buy, because look at that cover, and on the back too. And so I'm excited to read this one. Sometimes some of the best books you kind of just go into and you buy on a whim. And the next one that I have is Wilder Girls. I know that I've seen this one a lot, and this one is another body horror. I've heard it explained as kind of like a it's a sci-fi horror, but it's also reminiscent of Lord of the Flies, which is a book that I really enjoy, but throw body horror and, kind of makes it even better. So I'm really excited to read this. I did start reading it the other day, but I just didn't. I was trying to pick out what to read next, but I am excited to read this. And also, this is a really pretty cover as well. That I have is Silver Nitrate by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I'm kind of have a interesting relationship with her because I read Mexican Gothic and I absolutely loved the writing. Didn't really care for the story. It was not one of my favorites. It kind of made me roll my eyes a little bit, but it had the Gothic vibes were there, and the story was, or like the character, I can't remember the main character's name, was good, and I really liked it was creepy, but there was something about the way the story went and where it went that I just didn't really like. But this one it's basically about them trying to finish they're finishing an old film, they basically have to lift a curse and film a missing scene. And so I'm just excited to read this one. I've heard this one is really good as well. The next one that I have is How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. This will be my first ever book that I've read by Grady Hendrix, and this one just it just kind of piqued my interest. And I don't really have much to say about this one. So my other one that was also just this is a gorgeous book is Slewfoot, A Tale of Bewitchery by Brahm. It's just a gorgeous cover, and it's really floppy, and it even has like artwork inside of it. But I'm really excited to read this again. It has to do with witches and demons, and it just sounds right up my alley for the type of horror that I like. It's set in colonial England, so it's also like historic, and so I'm really excited to read this one, and it sounds like it'll be creepy and give me the atmosphere that I'm really wanting. And my last horror that I have is House of Cotton. This one I bought on part of a sale. Basically where this mysterious man comes up and offers the main character, Magnolia, a modeling job. Everything doesn't turn out as it seems, and more problems just arise from her accepting this job and being pushed into a world that she might not really know a lot about. And it has a lot of social commentary, so I'm excited to read this one. And it's also a short read too. Okay, so my last section is my fantasy, and I think that this is my biggest section. So the first one that I have is a fantasy romance, and it's This Blood That Binds Us. It is a young adult vampire romance story, and it's just a girl who gets thrust into, but she like gets attacked by a vampire, and obviously her life turns upside down. So this one just sounded really cute, and also again this cover is gorgeous, and I haven't really heard a lot of people talk about this one, and so it did, like I said, pique my interest. So I do want to read this one, but I was saving this one for Valentine's Day because it gives me very Valentine's Day vibes by the cover. So I'm hoping to read this one during February. The next one that I have that I'm really ashamed that I still haven't read is A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. I really liked Once Upon a Broken Heart, and then absolutely fell in love with The Ballad of Never After. The Ballad of Never After was one of the best books that I read in 2022. It was so good. I loved everything about it, and it really left on a big cliffhanger, so I'm surprised that I haven't read this one. I'm just kind of waiting to get in the mood to read this one, because I know this is a book that as soon as I start reading it, I'm going to sit down and only read this book. So I've just been kind of waiting till I'm in the mood to do that. But I'm very excited, and I got the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition that has the very pretty, the Ballad of the Archer and the Fox underneath, and so I really need to read this one. It's honestly a shame that I haven't read it, but yeah. The next kind of fantasy one that I have is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This again is another very beloved book by a lot of people. It's basically about, from what I understand, it's that this woman makes a deal with a demon to basically lives forever, but nobody remembers who she is, but then suddenly somebody does remember who she is, and so a kind of romance, and I've also heard this is kind of sad. So, but I've heard it's very beautiful, and also, again, I got this Barnes & Noble exclusive edition cover, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So I'm excited. I've never read anything by V.E. Schwab, so I'm excited to read this one. The other one that's also been very popular is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. The new one just came out. It came out in January, I believe, yeah. And this is just another historical kind of enemies to lover. It has academia, like Emily Wilde, she basically goes on a hunt to learn more about fairies in their world, and basically create an encyclopedia of them, and but a academic rival that she doesn't like tags along or ends up coming along with her, and I've heard that it's cute. I think it would fall under like a light academia traveling historic, and it just sounds really cute, and I would really like to read it. Next ones that I want to read are all of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I do not currently have The Hobbit with me, but I do have these really cute covers from the Nerdy Ink Shop, I think is what it's called. I do really want to read these just because I've never even seen the Lord of the Rings, and I really want to read them and then watch them. And so that's kind of been my goal for a little bit, because again, it's shocking that I've never even seen any of the Lord of the Rings. But it seems like things that I would like, but it's probably going to be one that's, I'm not going to lie, it's probably going to take me a little bit of time to get through. But I have this one, and then this is the back there, and then the second one, the Two Towers, and then it also has this back cover as well, and then this third one, which is The Return of the King. And then this really pretty back of it too. So I'm excited to read Lord of the Rings because I just kind of want to delve into that world again. I've never even seen Lord of the Rings. So I know like obviously bits and pieces, but I don't know a lot about Lord. My next one is this big gigantic book, which is The Priory of the Orange Tree. This is also another very beloved book. A lot of people like it. I know it has to deal with dragons, and that's about all that I know about it. I just really want to read it because it sounds, from what I have heard, it does sound intriguing. It sounds like there's an adventure aspect, so I'm excited to read it. And there's forbidden magic, and a land divided, so yeah, I just really want to read that one. That one's been on my shelf for a while. The other one that I've been slowly making my way through is Foxglove, and it is the sequel, or the second in the trilogy for Belladonna, which I have that one somewhere on my shelf. But it's the next one in the series. I'm slowly making my way through it. I'm not gonna lie, this one's kind of taking a little bit longer to pick up. It's not bad by any means, but there's a little bit more of a there's a mystery aspect coming back in, and so but yeah, I'm liking this. Is basically where a woman she like touches people and they die, and she there's a romance involving death, so it's a really interesting topic. But the first one, Belladonna, was great. I loved it so much. It had the gothic atmospheric vibes, and again, a love story involving death. What better can you get? My second one that I really want to read that I've had on my shelf for a while is The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. This one I've heard I started reading it a while ago, and it was really, oh hey look, I even have a bookmark in there. I got to page 62, and it was really good. Luli, and she's a midnight merchant, and she has a djinn as a bodyguard, and they hunt and sell illegal magic and magical things. But then she ends up running into a prince, and they kind of go on to an adventure and a journey. So again, what I read of it was really good. I just didn't continue reading it, but I'm really excited to hopefully finish this one. And then my last one on my TBR is Among the Beasts and Briars by Ashley Poston. Like I said, I've been reading Ashley Poston's, not all of her stuff, like I haven't read Geekerella and stuff like that, but I read The Dead Romantics and The 7-Year Slip, and those are among two of my favorite books. I love those books, and so when I found out that she wrote a standalone fantasy book, and it's a young adult, I immediately wanted to pick it up. She's written some other ones, but this one just sounded really cute. Basically, it's about a world that has no droughts, disease, or famine, and peace is everlasting. It's been that way for a long time, but there's also like a dark forest, and I'm assuming now as the new queen is crowned, things long hidden in the woods descend on the kingdom, so things start turning around and going bad. So from what I understand, there's a little bit of an adventure, there's romance, and so this just sounded really cute. So again, I'm really wanting to read more of Ashley Poston's work. So yeah, and that's it for my TBR. Yeah, that's it for my TBR. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching my video today. I don't think this TBR was too crazy, but hopefully I'll be able to get through some of these this year. Anyways, yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye!